Hey guys, this is No Solution. I'm Scott, and it's another episode of Blind by Blasphemies today. I've got four CDs to go over. So this episode is a little different. These aren't strictly like complete blind buys. All of these I found at a local shop for between $2 and $3, and they're blind buys in the sense that I've never heard anything from these bands, but they caught my attention because of I was familiar with certain members in the bands. So a little bit more of an informed purchase rather than just, hey, that cover looks cool or something like that. Um, so yeah, probably a smarter way to go with the blind buys. So we'll see how it works out for this one. All right, the first one here we have is Stream of Passion with don't remember the name, of course, The Flame Within, 2009 on Napalm Records. So this band I was aware of because I knew that well, I didn't know formerly, but I knew that this was a project put together by Arjun of Arion, that he wrote all the music and then the band performed it. So that was the case for the first album. And it is not the case for this one. He basically did that one album and then they became their own band. So the vocalist Marcella, I was also familiar with from, she was one of the many who was in the running to be the new singer of The Gathering when Annika left. So I knew she had a great voice, and so I thought I'd pick it up. Let's see. This one, a band from the Netherlands. She's originally from Mexico, but I believe she moved to the Netherlands. It's female-fronted symphonic power metal. I mean, these kind of bands sprouted up like weeds in the early to mid '90s, and it's really in that vein. Um, Marcella has an awesome voice, very reminiscent of Annika, actually. So they have that going for them. But for this one, I felt like I had never heard it before, but I felt like I'd already heard it 100 times. It's not bad. It's just kind of boring, which is, in my opinion, kind of worse. I've just listened to this a few hours ago, and I could not hum a single song to you. They're all fine and very pleasant, but they didn't stick with me at all. It's very bombastic, a lot of strings, a lot of keys, but the songs just aren't there. They did the thing that I hate, sticking a cover in the middle of the album, and then the cover is the best song. The cover is Street Spirit from Radiohead. And the rest of it, it's super long. There's 14 tracks. It's like an hour long. And by the end, I was just kind of waiting for it to be over. So this one, I'm not going to be keeping. I can't imagine myself ever going back to this. She has a great voice, but, a lot of people have a great voice. Who cares? If the album doesn't do it for you, it's not really worth too much. So, yeah, I don't know. They've put out albums since this, but I doubt I'll be pursuing it. I'll probably eventually track down the first one because I'm a fan of Arjun's songwriting. But yeah, Stream of Passion, that's probably going away. Let's see. The next one, Michael Romeo, his first solo album, The Dark Chapter. So if you're familiar with prog metal at all, you're probably aware Michael Romeo is the mastermind behind Symphony X. So it came out in 90, it says 94, but the Metal Archive says 95. And all the songs on here were on a demo that he did in 93 that was pre-Symphony X. So I think this came out concurrently or slightly after the first Symphony X album. But all the material was written before that. So this is a solo guitar album, basically, which isn't something I'm usually super into. So it's shreddy. But I really like this. I mean, these felt like songs. Just instrumental songs, not just like a guitar wankery show off album. The the main drawback to this is the drum machine. It's very primitive, and I usually, a lot of times I don't even pay attention to that, and sometimes I don't even notice when it's a drum machine. But when the album, Carpathia is kind of like the intro, and then the first song, Cask of Amontillado, starts with just the drums. I was like, don't do that. Don't highlight your drum machine because it sounds like a drum machine. But as the album went on, it didn't bother me at all. I was just more interested in the guitars and the melodies, and it's kind of a neoclassical prog guitar shredding album, but it's got songs, man. It's just fun to listen to. This is something I'll definitely be keeping in the collection. I'm not a huge Symphony X guy either. I've heard an album here and there, but based on this, I'll probably be investigating them more. So yeah, Michael Romeo, The Dark Chapter from 1995. Very happy to get that, especially for $2.99. Right, the next one is Effector Harmageddon. This came out in 2012. It's kind of an international supergroup deal. I recognize Ted Leonard, who is the singer of Spock's Beard right now, and also the singer of Enchant. And then Michael LaPond is in Symphony X. I believe he's the bass player of Symphony X. And then the other guys I weren't familiar with. But what caught my eye about this was, if you can see the bottom there, we've got Jordan Rudess, Derek Sherinian, and Neil Morris as special guests. So I gave it a whirl. The special guest part, they all play keyboards. So it's basically they contributed some keyboard solos. And you can definitely tell when they're on there. So this is kind of a Dream Theater clone band. Very virtuosic prog metal, a lot of instrumental and kind of show off shreddy parts. I used to have a much bigger appetite for this kind of thing. It's in now where I am now. It's a bit exhausting. You really have to be in the mood for it. And it has some really cool parts. I enjoyed listening to it. It could use some more transitions. They go into like really heavy solo passages and then come back to like a super saccharine sweet, like poppy vocal melody. So it's a little jarring at times, going back and forth between those things. And if you care about this is super, super Christian. It's the concept about revelation, and not like in any kind of cool, creative way. It's basically just telling the biblical story, and there's a lot of hallelujahs and praise Yahweh and things like that. So, I mean, I don't care about that, but it got old by the end. It's over an hour long. So, just so you know what you're getting into. If you're into the really bombastic kind of Dream Theater style, as I said, virtuosic prog metal, this is worth checking out. I mean, especially I got it for $2, so I don't regret picking it up. It could be a grower too. This seems like one that I might appreciate more with a few more listens. And then the last one is Millennium with Hourglass. So this, all I saw was the Die Bomb logo on the back, and Die Bomb's a cool label. I'll check this out. So I'll walk you through my process here. I opened it up and looked at the booklet, and I see the lineup, and I see Jornland on vocals and Ralph Santola on guitar, and I was like, sold. I don't need to know anything else. I'm buying it. So this is the album came out in 2000. This is a 2017 reissue with a bunch of bonus tracks and a really long, as Die Bomb usually does, a really long, cool interview, just talking about the process of the album and how it came together. So I only really knew Ralph Santola from his death metal stuff, like in Deicide and Obituary, obviously. So I didn't really know what he'd done before that. And with Jornland on vocals, I think in my head I was like, oh, Avantasia, because he's a mainstay in Avantasia. I was thinking it was going to be something like that. And when I first started listening to it, I was really disappointed. This is really super melodic, almost AOR. metal in parts, but more AOR hard rock stuff. So I was a little bummed, but as it went on, as I got my head around what it was, it's really cool. I mean, Jorn Land is one of my favorite vocalists. I mean, of the last 20 years, and Ralph Santola, fantastic guitar player, rest in peace. And yeah, this is a really fun, just melodic heavy metal / AOR type album. If that sounds like something you might be into, and you're a fan of those dudes, I would definitely say check it out. I believe it's still on sale at Dive Bomb, so that's a winner. I'm keeping that one. They had 2 albums previously and an album after that, but this was the only one Jorn was on. Their previous singer couldn't do it, and they found him, and he just did the 1 album. So I don't know if I'll be pursuing more of this band, but this was a cool find. So yeah, no movies this week, guys. Haven't really been watching. I've been really enmeshed in wrestling and not had time for movies, so I let you off the hook on that one this week. But thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.